statement, but not a conclusive or final report of the elections, because after this press conference and in the weeks ahead, we will release our final report on the elections. In the November 11th governorship elections, Yiaga Africa deployed the process and results verification for transparency methodology to observe the elections in Imo and Kogi State, respectively. We deployed 600 stationary observers to a representative random sample of 300 polling units for each state and 50 roving observers in the two states. With this methodology, Yiaga Africa can confidently assess the process of accreditation, voting, counting, and we can independently verify the official results announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission. In addition to the PRVT methodology, we also deployed 9 roving observers for the Bayelsa governorship election to observe the process and results collation. As we all know, this is the first off-cycle governorship election conducted after the 2023 elections. And these elections were to test the commitment of different stakeholders, such as INEC, security agencies, the executive, to restoring public confidence in the electoral process. Yiaga Africa observed a marked improvement in the management of election logistics across the 3 states. The Commission, and in this case, INEC's prompt response to the report of cases of pre-filled result sheets, that's from EC8As, in Kogi, was equally impressive. We hope that the Commission will fulfill its commitment to ensuring the culprits face the full wrath of the law. We also observe a reduction in the cases of election day-related violence and commend the efforts of the police and other security agencies, especially in the management of election security in Kogi State. We hope that the reports, of several electoral offenses, compromise and unprofessional conduct on the part of police officers are duly investigated and that the culprits are properly punished. These are key findings on the election day process in Imo and Kogi State. On the deployment of BVAS, we observed that BVAS was deployed across all the polling units observed in Imo and Kogi State. In Imo State, the BVAS worked throughout the day in 94% of polling units. However, it malfunctioned, and where cases where it malfunctioned and it was fixed was in about 3% of polling units. There are also cases where the BVAS malfunctioned and it was not fixed, and this was recorded in 2% of polling units observed by Yiaga Africa. In Kogi, the BVAS worked throughout the day in 94% of polling units. It malfunctioned and it was fixed in 5% of polling units. And cases where it malfunctioned and it wasn't fixed was recorded in 1% of polling units. On the secrecy of the ballot, in 15% of polling units in Imo and 6% of polling units in Kogi State, it was possible to see how a voter marked their ballot papers. Voters also crowded polling units during counting in about 27% of polling units in Imo and 30% of polling units in Kogi. On deployment and professionalism of polling officials and security, reports received from our polling unit observers revealed that INEC officials were unprofessional and partisan in over 15% of polling units in Imo and 14% of polling units in Kogi, respectively. Security personnel were present in 74% of our sampled polling units in Imo, while in Kogi, security personnel were present in 94% of the sampled polling units in Kogi. On misconduct at the polling units, in 6% of polling units in Imo and 1% of polling units in Kogi, respectively, voters were permitted to vote without accreditation with the BVAS. And at 14% of polling units in Imo and 18% of polling units in Kogi, party agents attempted to influence polling officials during counting. And because the statement contains a lot of this data, we will just highlight a few and go straight to critical incidents. On counting, in 2% of polling units in Imo, as well as 3% in Kogi, counting of ballot papers was not done or conducted in the same location as accreditation and voting. On critical incidents, throughout Election Day, Yiaga Africa verified 101 critical incidents witnessed by our observers. 87 of these reports were received from Imo, and 14 of these reports were received from Kogi. Some of these critical incidents relate to polling units not open, as noted in our earlier statement, where 37 or 39% of polling units in Imo, where elections were not conducted due to several issues, and we have called on INEC, to explain what transpired and in those places. Because our data shows that elections were not conducted in 12% of polling units, sampled polling units in Imo. But we've also received additional reports from our mobile observers that indicates that there are additional polling units where elections did not hold. These cases, as we've noted in our earlier statements, are prevalent in 9 polling units in Osu, 8 polling units in Okigwe, 8 polling units in Oru East, 7 in Olu local government, and 1 polling unit each in Idiato, Ikeduru, Oru West, and Owerri West local government in our sampled polling units. These data suggest that elections may not have held in the designated polling units in those identified local governments, which to a large extent questions the transparency of the process, and it violates the rights of voters in those affected polling units. At Yiaga Africa, we are concerned about the continuous decline in the quality of our elections and the penchant to lower the integrity standards of our elections, irrespective of reforms introduced by INEC and progress made in reforming our election legal framework. The November 11 election were another missed opportunity to rebuild trust and confidence in the electoral process. The election does question the commitment of democratic institutions to electoral integrity and credible elections. As a result of the missing data from Yiaga Africa's Process and Result Verification for Transparency, PRVT, sampled polling units, coupled with the high number of critical incidents recorded in Imo, we are not in a position to verify the credibility of the process and the outcome of the Imo governorship elections. Yiaga Africa urgently calls on INEC to review and conduct a comprehensive audit of the Imo governorship election results to inspire confidence in the process and its outcome. Now, in terms of critical incidents, we have noted there are cases of ballot box snatching, bypass by beavers, violence and disruption, harassment of voters. All these are highlighted in our statements. On the Kogi State results verification, and just to also explain that these are based on results announced by INEC at the polling unit. Based on reports from 278 of 286, that's 97% of our polling units, Yiaga Africa's statistical analysis shows that the All Progressive Congress should receive between 46.7% and 58.9% of the vote. The PDP should receive between 30.8% and 42.2% of the vote. The SDP candidate, no, I'll take that again. The PDP candidate should receive 30.8%, as well as the SDP candidate should receive 42.2%. I take that again for purposes of clarification. That based on reports from our 97.2% of polling units we observed, our data shows that the APC should receive between 46.7% vote and 58.9% of the vote. The PDP should receive about 30.8%, while the SDP should receive 42.2% of the vote, while no other political party should receive more than 4.6% of the vote. INEC's turnout and rejected ballots for the 21 local governments in Kogi State are consistent with Yiaga Africa's PRVT estimates. Yiaga Africa's turnout estimate is between 34.4% and 43.6%, while INEC's official turnout rate is about 36.8%. The turnout figures, however, the turnout figures for Kogi Central, based on our data, raises a lot of questions as to the accuracy of those data. Similarly, Yiaga Africa's estimates for rejected ballots are also between 0.9% and 1.5%, while INEC's official rejected ballot number is about 1.4%. The results, as announced by INEC, are consistent for Kogi State, are consistent with Yiaga Africa's estimate. Specifically, it falls within our estimated range. Had the results been changed at the ward, local government or state collation centers, the results would have fallen, it wouldn't have fallen within our estimated margin. However, the incidence of pre-filled result sheets in some wards in Ogorimagongo, Okei, Adavi, Okene, and Ajaokuta undermines the credibility of the results from the affected local governments. And to our recommendations, we've called on INEC to thoroughly investigate all the allegations of malpractices, the misapplication of election laws and guidelines, and remediate all the flaws, including prosecuting its staff for complicity. INEC should also conduct a comprehensive audit of the Imo governorship elections and make its findings public. Increasingly, voters are tactically disenfranchised for conducts that are not within their control. We call on INEC to review its policy to ensure that eligible voters across all polling units are given the equal opportunity to vote. This includes a policy that reviews or ensures that voters in polling units where elections are cancelled or suspended do have an opportunity to cast their vote. We also call on the National Assembly to accelerate the process of electoral reform, especially the establishment of the Electoral Offences Commission, and promptly and diligently prosecute electoral offenders. The elections in Kogi and Imo reaffirm the lack of commitment to democratic principles and credible elections on the part of electoral stakeholders. The zero-sum attitude to electoral politics undermines electoral integrity and citizens' right to elect leaders. Yiaga Africa reiterates its earlier call that election administration requires fundamental reforms to not only inspire public confidence, but enhance the legitimacy of election processes and outcomes. This includes fundamentally reforming the election management body, in this case INEC, as well as the attitude of politicians to elections. Cases where electoral officials arrive at the polling units with pre-filled election results is unacceptable and highly condemnable. In conclusion, we would like to thank the voters who went to the polls despite the challenges, and also commend the people of Imo and Kogi State for maintaining peace throughout the process. We would like to thank the Nigerians and those observers who, across the two states, volunteered to serve as non-partisan election observers on behalf of the people of Imo and Kogi State. We also commend the dedication and commitment of the patriotic NYSC members who served as ad hoc officials, not referring to those who compromised the process. But we also want to appreciate the collaboration of all stakeholders, including sister election observer groups, who also painstakingly have been observing this entire process. We want to thank our colleagues and friends from the media for your support, for not only amplifying our findings, but for holding the stakeholders to account for their commitment to credible elections. The Watching the Vote is driven by data, is for all Nigerians, and is beholden to none. So I think that because we're dealing with figures, it's important to clearly put this in proper perspective. So we are all clear about the data, and I'm going to take, what's the estimate for Kogi again, because based on the reports from 97% of polling units, INEC's official data for the APC is 57.04%. And our estimate was that the candidate for the APC should get between 47% and 59% of the vote. For the PDP, the official INEC result shows that the candidate for the PDP got 5.9%. Our WTV estimate shows that the candidate should receive between 4.8% and 7.4%. For the SDP, INEC's official data shows that the candidate for the SDP should get 33.11%, and our data, or PRVT estimates, shows that the SDP candidate should get between 31% and 42.4%. These are the accurate estimates and percentages, and like we mentioned, they're quite consistent. However, we've also raised the incidence of pre-filled result sheets in some wards, and that this incident undermines, the credibility of the results from those affected LGAs. And Chooks, to your point, why do we do this? It's important to note that as election observers, we have a duty, to watch, observe the process, assess its credibility, and share our findings. What we have done is to discharge that responsibility. And what civil society and election observers do does lend some form of credibility to the process, but also inspires public confidence. Now, public confidence is critical for democracy. It's critical for